Good morning. Today is a called special meeting of the City Council. Today is Thursday, January 4th. It's 9 a.m. We're in Public Works Building. Tammy, can you call the roll, please?
Mayor Miller,
Here.
Mr. Smith,
Here.
Ms. Hamilton,
Here.
Mr. Welly,
Here.
Mr. Wolf.
Here.
This is a employee issue that we're going to be discussing, so there's no public comment. I would ask that the people in the room to observe and please, no crosstalk in the room so that we can concentrate and do city business at the council table. Our issue today, we're bringing city administrator's position forward. There's been a lot of controversy regarding some postings online with Mr. Hubbard, as well as some inappropriate behaviors at the city council table during city council meetings. So we'll open the discussion at the table.
I kind of wrote out a history of what I felt like was the Chris Hubbard experience since he's been hired, which began in the beginning with the hiring process, how 15 people applied, 6 were scheduled for the interview, it worked out only 2 people showed, and we all know the details of that. Of the 2, Chris was not the most experienced or the most qualified. After interviewing, at the interviewing meeting, then it was suggested by the mayor that we take more time. This was an important decision, that we take more time, try to find more applicants. Mel Smikalowski agreed to fill in for that position temporarily so that we could have more time. But that was quickly changed because a motion was made, it was seconded, it was voted, and then Chris was hired. Chris returned to Mexico Beach, 9 years of not working here, and he was not working in any form of city government, but instead was a real estate agent in Kentucky. So he really has no interest here in Mexico Beach as far as staying here long. He admitted that in the interview. During the 9 years he was absent, there was 5 city administrators that were hired, and he was not considered to be hired for any of those positions. I shortly became concerned that Chris Hubbard came with an attitude that he answered to no one but himself. On October 23rd, I met with Chris in the presence of Tammy, and I stated my concerns that he was not informing the city council when he was leaving town, when he was returning, as always the previous city administrators did. And I got no response to that, of when he would come and when he would go. And of the 5 people who reports to, I am one of them, so that request was not met. I also requested that when he makes out the agenda, that prior to making it go public, that he would show it to the city council in case we needed to make any changes or concerns. That also didn't happen, and continues not to happen. Regarding our city millage rate, the city council had agreed on 5.8. Chris said it needed to be 5.999, referred to the lawsuit that was going on, but it really wasn't necessary because we have a surplus in that budget, and it wasn't necessary to do that. But I feel like Chris felt like he needed to present that as a real problem because of the lawsuit. Interesting enough, in another meeting, when we talked about the $1 million cost of law enforcement that exceeded the budget by $78,000, Chris said, no problem, there's plenty of money. I don't think someone that answers in this way should ever be the CFO or the CEO of my city. I also requested that Chris encourage employees that report directly to him follow the LDC regarding all signs that are illegally placed on vacant lots and right-of-ways. He decided to extend the date to October 25th. once again answering to no one. Many of the citizens have complained and provided information regarding the addresses. Here we are, January 2024. Most of the illegal signs remain, vacant lots and on right-of-ways. When Chris recently used the Mexico Beach Facebook page as an avenue to express his personal rant of emotions, referring to people as clowns, he greatly abused his power. The Mexico Beach Facebook was created to make public announcements. Many citizens were concerned about this explosive personality and stated such emails to the city council. He continues to make flip comments in public interviews, stating he didn't attend the last recent special COG meeting, the whole purpose being him, because it would be a circus. Chris Hubbard's impulsive, explosive, cyberbullying personality with that attitude answers to no one is very disturbing and dangerous and unacceptable. If you can't hear me in the back, it's because the city council wanted microphones. Chris, once again answering to no one, decided we didn't need the microphones. Every other city in this panhandle has microphones.
Smith?
I think I'll wait and let it pass around the table and come back. I do have some things to say.
Please.
I'll wait, I'll just say, thank you for asking.
Mr. Weldon?
Bear with me, I'm sick, that's why I'm taking so long.
Hi, Jerry.
I'm on
You stay over in that corner, Peter.
I don't feel overly prepared, that's why I was gonna listen too, but I took some notes just now. And it's been 8 administrators in 9 years, not 5. And Chris has never been an applicant. Also, I thought Mr. Wolf brought up the change of millage to 5.99, not Mr. Hubbard. I think that since your conversation regarding vacation notices, I think they're happening, because I'm getting them. I thought we all were. But
No.
if not everybody, I know I'm getting emails.
And how are you getting those?
Via email.
Hadn't gotten them.
I also spoke to Mr. Hubbard regarding the Facebook comments after the, what do we call it was back mid-December, and had a conversation as well. I left Facebook in July. It's the greatest thing I ever did. It's a lot to get beat up every day about a bunch of nonsense by fellow elected officials, media personalities, people that don't live here, people that do live here. I couldn't read it anymore, so I got off it. But enough people send me screenshots every day of stuff that's happening on Facebook. So I do know what we're talking about because I've got copies of it all. I do 100% favor a written warning for Mr. Hubbard regarding this, as I've had a verbal conversation. Talked to 3 HR professionals about progressive discipline. It's what I've always been taught in my life. As a supervisor, you progressively discipline. I think it is appropriate that we do a written warning because it needs to be a final written, and again, if this happens again, we need to be done with it. I'm also in favor, if somebody wants to, of extending the probationary period 3 months to give us that out if it does happen again. And the biggest thing of all is it's hard for me to enforce the Facebook things when direct supervisors of that position are doing the very same things on them. Yes. And that's all I'm going to say for now. Thank you.
Yeah, I would say on the vote, it was a 3-2 vote to hire Chris. That's the system we work with, that's a majority vote. So that should have been settled, he should have been hired, his contract should have been signed, we should have moved on. That's the way this system is set up. On the agenda, the mayor actually told Tammy and Chris that she wanted to approve the agenda before it went out. That was your decision to do. So it was never brought up to each council person to be able to approve it. It was the mayor approving it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll address that. Go ahead.
We can go back to some meetings and address it factually. I voted for the 5-9. I did. That was my my request and brought up for motion. I agree with Mr. Welly. I believe this city, the public sector, no matter where you look, has a progressive discipline, graduated system for discipline. If we decide to move forward with any progress for discipline for an employee, it should have been brought to this table, we should have discussed it, all those things on your list should have been brought up individually, and we should have been at a point, okay? Because there's actually a four-tier system, and everybody I'm sure knows it, it's whether it's a verbal warning, a written warning, or a final warning with suspension, and then finally termination. When you go to termination, if you review the, some issues on that you would give a verbal warning, or a written warning, or a final warning or suspension. I kind of put those in 4 categories. 1, 2, and 3 would be performance issues. 2, 3 would be serious conduct. 2, 3 would be severe violence. 4 would be legal behavior. Embezzlement, fraud, work violence, corruption. I don't think we're there. We're talking about social media. I've been personally attacked on social media along with you, because I've read the same, along with you. All 4 of us have been attacked. The individual councilman. Have we replied? No, all 4 of us have not replied. Has our mayor replied? Absolutely. The stuff that she has posted is just as bad as Mr. Hubbard has done. I agree that there should be a letter of reprimand, a strong letter of reprimand for Chris.
Okay, so I would like to address some of the issues that we have been having. I too agree when Mr. Hubbard was hired, it was, there was some irregularities that took place. His interview was out of hundreds of interviews I've been in over the past 28 years. I have to say his was the worst I've ever seen. He attacked citizens that were in the room. And that's why, we called about an investigation on the irregularities, which actually ended up with a lawsuit due to that investigation. So, when Mr. Hubbard came here, even in his interview, he was very arrogant. He's looked at me and told me, yes, I'm arrogant. He's looked at me and told me, he said, you know why I'm here? Because I can stand up to you. So I guess that's why Mr. Welly had called him and asked him to come back, because he thought he could stand up to me. And, that's fine. That's fine. But you talk about direct supervision. It is an issue with our direct supervision because we're not all here at the same time. The only time that we can talk is when we're at this table, and nothing's been talked about at this table. Mr. Hubbard makes the agenda. I have asked actually in writing for him to send the agenda to me. Let me, as the presiding officer, review it, make sure it's something that can be done in a timely manner, and then send it to council. Let them also review that, see if it can be anything that they don't want or they do want to add to that, even though Robert's rule says we can't add and subtract or add and take away things at the table before the agenda is completed, is addressed. But, I thought it was a better process when I asked Mr. Hubbard to send it to me, let me look at it, send it to the council, let them look at it, and get their final approval from all of us before we put out an agenda. That was never done. Also, I asked him early on when he was leaving town every single weekend, I emailed him and asked him to email the council on the weekends that he is going to be out of town. This position is a full-time position that requires and can require weekend work. Michael, for one, had some issues, even that short period of time that he was interim, had some issues in town that he had to be here for. And Mr. Hubbard informed me that he's a Monday through Friday employee and that he did not work weekends. So that's his perspective on it, and I will, tend to agree with him. He has not been here on weekends. as far as Facebook, the official Facebook page, first off, I'm gonna apologize for replying to some of that. I was in the reading process when I looked at that, and I felt like, I pretty much had lost everything, so nothing to lose to refer to Chris's comments on our Facebook page. And I did take that down, because I did find it inappropriate of myself, and I do apologize publicly for the record. I have heard no apologies from Mr. Hubbard. I think Mr. Hubbard is not good for our city. I don't think he was good from day one. We give him opportunities. He had an agenda. He was brought here for a specific agenda of the council and of some of the council. And I don't think he's a good fit for our city. And I can't think of anybody that could sit here and, at this table and say that you've been informed about every single thing that's happened in this city since Mr. Hubbard's been here. Because every week, until recently, for good reason, every week I went to Mr. Hubbard 1 or 2 times per week and said, what's going on in the city? What do I need to know about? He needs to keep me informed. We had a conversation at the beginning. I just need to be kept informed. 0. He gives me nothing. He gives me absolutely nothing. I know it. You probably know it before I know it. And I'm not saying I need to know it before anybody else. We all need to know what's going on in our city. And he signed some contracts that I think are inappropriate for him to sign without council approval. And I personally do not know what's going on in our city, because Mr. Hubbard has kept that from me. 100%. And if you don't believe me, you can sit there and laugh all you want, but I promise you, I do not know what's going on in the city, because he has kept it from me. And I feel that that is on orders from other people, should I say. And that's not right. This whole council should know everything. Does anybody else? Mr. Jerry?
I've got a few things.
Sure.
And I appreciate your thought, but did you apologize for the name you called the city council, or you just apologized to the public?
What names did I call city council?
Well, I got 3 or 4 right here where you called me,
And what did I call you, sir?
but it's black and white, Miss Miller, you don't know what you
If
called me?
you like me to read it, I'd be glad to.
No, ma'am, I don't want you to read it, you apologize to them and that.
Well, I apologize to the council, but
For
I'm
the
going
name
to
call.
apologize for the name call. If I called anybody any names inappropriately, if it was inappropriate names, did not fit, the shoe did not fit, that's okay. If the shoe fit, I'm sorry. If
No,
it-
well, I can call
So-
you names and then that way we
Oh, I've
can.
been called names, sir.
No, ma'am, I don't do that. And first, number one thing is, the majority of people do know that I'm not on Facebook.
I understand that.
You understand? I'm not on Facebook. It's the devil.
Okay.
I'm not through,
Oh,
man. Please,
go ahead.
please let me get through. I think if nobody was on Facebook, it would be better. And I believe this name calling from the different people that's on Facebook needs to stop. If the shoe fits or not. You have a position to uphold, and I think you also should uphold that position as the mayor. And your language to other people on Facebook is not appropriate for me.
Okay. Go ahead. Let's talk about Chris.
But I thought we were.
Okay. I haven't heard anything but me so far.
I'm
Go ahead.
100% for Chris. I think he's done an excellent job. I do.
Can you give me some examples, sir?
Well, the first thing, when you sit here and say you don't know what's going on in the city, you need to get your little yo-yo and drive around this city like I do. Drive, and you will see what's going on in this city. Not sit behind a computer and try to find fault with what he's doing or what I'm doing and call me names and people like that at Facebook. That shouldn't be it. Drive, and you'll run into me.
Let me ask you, sir. Has Chris kept you informed on what's going on in the
I
city?
go in there. I don't go as much as everybody else. I go probably once a week.
Okay, I do. I've asked him once to twice a week, yes. And his answer to me is, Mayor, I don't have anything for you.
There's a lot of times nothing's going on. If you'll ride these roads, you'll find out what's going on. We don't have a big city.
we have a city administrator, acting city administrator here that should be, his job is to keep us informed, the whole council,
Now, what do you call him?
acting city administrator.
Acting. That's another thing I think we need to do today. Since we're talking about him, I think, with this council right here, I think, if you don't mind, how we do this, how we gonna do it, get his contract signed and the ordinance that you didn't sign, let's get it signed today. By the mayor pro tem.
I have no problem with signing that contract as soon as I'm,
No,
Given
ma'am,
that-
the council voted 3-2.
okay, well,
The council did,
Yes.
you telling me you don't do what the council said?
I do not have to put my signature on something that is inappropriate. And we have a judge, hey, we have a lawsuit for that court, if you wanted to skip that, we can skip
No,
that,
all I
because that's a
want
lawsuit.
us at this table, as council, to get Chris's contract signed. I don't know what we have to do, just go around the table, whatever to do, because we are talking about him, and get the ordinance signed that you didn't sign.
I've signed all the ordinance that I'm aware of.
8/11?
Yep, it's been signed.
Okay, I must have been out with the family on vacation.
Christmas signed, I've informed you.
Somebody didn't ask you.
Well, if you ask them if anything's going on in the city, you should have known that, what's going on in the city too. So what else do you have about Chris?
I would think, sometimes a person gets to a breaking point.
Mm-hmm.
And if you push hard enough, that it's just like you said you did. You know, you was your reason for putting stuff on Facebook.
I'm there. I'm at a breaking point. Overall.
Excuse me, he's talking. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I didn't mind him butting in, but I think that's what happened to Chris. To respond to the, since I'm not on it, but the breaking point, and it is true, we all do have one, and since you admitted that that's what happened to you, maybe that's what happened to him.
Okay, so I made one public comment on our official Facebook page. After multiple comments, not only on the official Facebook page, but multiple comments on other pages that were sent to me. Not that I look at those, they were sent to me. I've had emails from the public about a lot of these issues with social media on our official Facebook page for Mr. Hubbard.
I mean, if you'd be like me, you would know it.
No, I know it from the emails if I didn't know it from looking at Facebook.
I think that Chris is doing an outstanding job.
Can you give me some
Yes,
examples
ma'am,
of that
if you would,
outstanding job?
department heads really look up to him.
Mhm.
That's how this city is run by our employees.
Mhm.
And why we own it right now, the council and us council, we should not, talk about our employees, and now he is an employee, and Ms. Hamilton, bless you, I mean, please don't take this wrong, but when you talk about Kathy Cox out there, I got a lot of, that we shouldn't talk about in this meeting. We shouldn't talk about our employees. We should stand behind our employees. Stand behind them. That's the city.
And our job is to make sure that the city is run properly.
Yes, ma'am, but I think, in my opinion, that she should have went, her and got Miss Lyons in the room, ma'am.
They did.
How'd
I was
that
there
come
that
out?
day.
Oh, you
It
were
was
there.
pretty.
Not pretty.
And we're not gonna discuss that because that's an employee, and that was between Miss Hamilton and Miss Lyons.
And we have a city administrator, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't think we
Yes,
should take,
do. And apparently he's not keeping us informed as he should be keeping us informed.
Mayor, I'd like to, as far as Chris' informants, I mean, I believe that we have an obligation to go to him, sit down with him, ask him some questions, and get some answers. Text, Facebook, emails, doesn't work if you're gonna do one-on-one conversations. Can you honestly sit there and say that you've taken the time to sit down with Chris in his office when you come into the city hall
Yes, I have.
and say where we are, what's going on?
Yes, I have.
I've asked Chris that personally. I've asked him, do you come in like we come in and ask questions, sit down, close the door if you have to for confidentiality or whatever? And he told me no.
Okay.
He in fact told me that when you came in as the mayor, one of the things, and he came in as a city administrator, he asked for your visions, your understanding of what goals you're trying to meet, never got them.
That's interesting.
I'm just telling you what he told me, I mean.
Yeah. We may take some things with grains of salt. So, I do want to say that publicly, on record, Mr. Hubbard at this table has been reprimanded verbally more than one time, at least twice for myself. And on December 7th, I gave him a written reprimand that covered a lot of information as far as what was going on. And at the time, he was not in the office, so I left it for him and asked him to sign it and give it to Tammy for his record. And he came in during that time, and I asked him if he was going to sign the reprimand, and he told me he was not, that he had read it, and at that time, he was verbally screaming at me that he did not work for me, that, which I in turn sent an email after our conversation because he was screaming, I do not work for you, you need to get out of my office. I offered to take him to my office and meet with him in there if he was more comfortable there. He said, no, I want you out of my office. And that he was, Mayor, I'm going to deactivate your key so you can't get in City Hall. So I found that rather disturbing. So I did write him an email about creating a hostile work environment, violation of the charter, violation of and in that reprimand, I pointed out the fact that he was violating several of our employee handbook, several things in the employee handbook, you know, and I feel like if we're going to hold our employees to a standard, to the standard of our employee handbook, I think we need to be holding our upper management even more so. So I pointed out in here the code of conduct. I also pointed out his electronic email and internet access, social media, and our media policies. So with that, he has been reprimanded verbally. He has been reprimanded in writing, which he chose not to sign, which I find insubordinate in many ways. So
Why is your team coming in so late in this process? This is the first I'm hearing. Is this the first you heard about this? Ms. Hamilton, the
About
first you
what?
heard about this? The thing she's talking about?
about the reprimand?
That she's done to him, a letter? Do you know about that letter?
Why would she inform me of that? That's between she and Chris.
Exactly. No, that's between this
Did you
council
know, did you
and
know
Chris.
about that?
I did not. I'm saying, I'm surprised by all this. Is anybody at this table not surprised by it other than the mayor?
Why would you find that something that it was gonna go in his, it was a written reprimand, it was gonna go in his record?
Yes, ma'am, but I
Which
think that
would
needs to
normally
be,
be under,
you've started a process of discipline, and it needs to be communicated to the council.
we're communicating it today. I mean, I don't think that I can email you or,
You can
this
do
would be
whatever you
something,
want. You can
Chris-
email me, you can email this council, you can email Tammy
okay.
and get the word to us. I mean, you can do that.
Well, on December 9th, my daughter died, and I really didn't
I
have
understand
time
that.
to put that email, and I really haven't had a lot of time to do a lot of things.
Well, I'm sorry, if that's your
So,
excuse,
but
I
think
understand
that's,
that.
I think that's a pretty
But
good excuse, but at the same
It's not a
time,
good excuse had that not happened.
when I reprimand the employee, he should not be uncivil, and he was totally uncivil.
We need to.
His conduct was totally out of line.
We need to decide.
Here, I'd like to
I don't
pass
know
this to
that. I'm not done yet, ma'am. I asked myself, a couple questions, and I've done this before when I've had to, like you, I've had many people that had to terminate, unfortunately. But you asked yourself, at the table, is anybody here that has an axe to grind? And I said to myself, yeah, I think there is. There's two people at this table that don't want him, didn't want him, don't acknowledge him. That's a problem. It was voted a majority vote. That's one.
I'm handing the
We have
gavel.
given this employee a chance to tell his side of the story. Have we done that? Have you sat down with him and asked her how this happened, what went on? Has anybody?
I sat down with him, I mean, I went to him and I was screamed at.
When this incident happened, ma'am, did we investigate that incident? Have we found out what?
Since December 7th, I have not had the opportunity to
Okay.
go any further with Mr. Hubbard.
These are the questions I would ask because I think we need to protect our city and our citizens and our
Yes, we do.
taxpayers.
Here,
Have we documented any of this? I guess you documented some of it. The council doesn't know about it. Is there anything about this that doesn't sound right to anybody? Well, it doesn't sound right to me. Have we consulted with our lawyer? Has anybody talked to you about this?
This is the first time I heard about a letter of reprimand, was today, just a few seconds ago.
Has anybody talked to you about this incident?
The incident, which one?
Chris's post on
I have spoken to several of you about it, and
Okay.
there were some problems with it.
I called you on day one because I wasn't sure the status of the mayor, so I called you and I wanted a letter written of reprimand immediately.
You did.
Spoke on the subject.
Okay, thank you. Have we considered what a package looks like? Have we even sat down and said, Chris, here's the package, see you later, bye? Have we tried to protect our city?
apparently, there has not been a lot of protection of our city by this council. I will answer that, yeah.
Ma'am, I've read all your insults
So-
about the council. I know you don't like us. I understand that. That's part of the problem, your post. Talk about propaganda.
Are you finished? You've got the gavel, and I would like to make a motion to terminate Mr.
I think,
Chris?
Mr. Wolf, could I say
Excuse me.
something prior? You just handed the gavel to him. He's running the meeting now.
I've got the right to make a motion.
But I'd
Go
like,
ahead.
Mr. Wolf, I'd like to make a comment. Pursuant to Florida statutes, if this board is gonna take a vote and take a proposition, take an action, citizens have a right to be heard. I just want let the council know that they should take that into consideration. The citizens of this town should be heard if you're going to vote on something.
Okay, I do.
at the table, would we like to hear from the citizens? Mr. Aikman, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm trying for a
Are you
second.
giving
I
that
don't
back? That's
want,
fine.
I don't need,
as for,
I'm taking the gavel back, because apparently there's, some issues here that we need to settle before we go into
you're
a.
turning this into a joke, Mayor.
Yes, you are, sir.
We really need to decide what we're doing here.
as far as specifics, asking Chris for updates every week, I don't go in and say, hey, what do I need to know? I go in with, hey, this specific question, what's going on here? Can we get a road from Joe Drive across? Can we meet with St. Joe Company? Done. Set it up, we met with them. I have asked about stormwater issues, direct question, how do we solve this problem? I don't ask blanket statements of giving an update, it's specific projects that matter to me and the people that are calling me. The verbal reprimand, yes, I understand that, and then I did not know about the written. However, as a former employee here who received a written reprimand twice in 6 years, The first one was from the mayor at the time, walked in my office to reprimand me, and I also didn't sign it because I don't work for the mayor, I work for the council, and I told him to bring it to the council. I think Mr. Pollock was on the council, and that resolved by a 3-month extension of my probationary period, not a write-up, and then a month later my probationary period was released early. It was the weirdest thing ever, but that's what happened there. The second write-up, I gave myself, because I did something wrong, so I wrote it up, signed it, brought it to the council, and put it in my file. Discipline comes from the council, and that's why I think it's important that we go formal at this table. We can have all the verbal conversations we want, but it's our word and his word and whatever. Here at this table, it's formal. And the last thing is, I get a W-2, all 5 of us get W-2s. I think we're subject to the personnel policy as well. That's all. Okay, lose my voice.
We want to open this to the, sir.
I think this meeting is getting away from the whole purpose. The subject here is Chris Hubbard, and does he need to be reprimanded? I think we are getting into some diversion here and just really going way out in left field, and maybe too much emphasis on the Facebook thing. I personally feel like confronting people on Facebook is a very cowardly way of communicating.
Okay.
When I have something to talk to somebody about, I go face to face to them, and then I settle it. In reference to Kathy Lyons, she and I spoke in her office. A week later, she was out on the street. I was walking my dog. We had a pleasant conversation. We said what we had to say, and we were done with that. That's how I roll. I think too much emphasis is being put on the Facebook when there are so many other items to consider. Chris's impulsive, explosive personality, cyberbullying personality with the attitude I answer to no one but myself. I find this very disturbing, dangerous, and unacceptable. And for that reason, I would like to make a motion that Chris Hubbard be terminated immediately from his position of city administrator.
I'd like to
And I would
caution the
second that
council
vote.
one more time that I think if you're gonna take a vote, I think the citizens should be heard pursuant to.
This is personnel error. I don't think that
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like we should maybe take a vote here to see if we want the citizens to comment. Can you take the roll? See if we can, well, you
We're
really
gonna
don't
vote.
need to take a roll, we can just go right to the table.
Well, there was a motion made.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I did second.
Oh, you
So we
second,
need to-
okay. Take the roll.
Roll.
And your motion was to terminate.
That's correct. Immediately.
Okay. Mayor Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
No.
Ms. Hamilton,
Yes.
Mr. Welly,
No.
Mr. Wolf.
No.
This meeting is adjourned.
Biggest joke I ever seen.
I mean,
I don't even
we want to terminate him.
You're funny, you are, Joe.
We are terminated. Terminate. We got a motion to terminate. We came here, we did our business. The council